Here you're looking at Assembly 2. I'm going to give you instructions on how to create that assembly in case you need this tutorial. But otherwise, you should be able to create this using the tutorial from the first assembly. Looking at this assembly, I see that I'm going to need 3 cubes. I'm going to need 2 triangular prisms. I need 1 cylinder, and I need 1 half cylinder. I first tell the program what I'm creating. So I go to the drop down button next to the shortcut New, and I choose Assembly. And now I need to place the objects in there that I need for my assembly. So I go to Place, and again I needed 3 cubes, and the first object placed is going to be my stationary object, the one that doesn't move, so that one will be still and I'm going to build around it. And I want to click another one, and it's getting difficult for me to see, so I'm going to use my mouse wheel to zoom out. And there's the third, and I right click and say done. And now I still am going to need a cylinder and just one of those, and then right click and done. And I need 2 triangular prisms, and click and click and right click, done. And I need 1 half cylinder. Click, right click, done. Okay, here's my stationary cube, the one object that will not move. All of the rest will move. So I'm going to build around this one. Okay, looking at your final assembly, how it should look, I know this should be mated, these 2 faces here, and then I'll flush it so it's locked in place. My constraint tool is what I'll be using. And the first thing I like to do is mate the 2 faces that are connected. So I click on the first face that's mated, and then be careful to click actually on the full face, not on an edge. Click on this face, and now those 2 are mated. And I always like to go back to my isometric view by clicking on that house so that I can see it when I'm done in plain view. And I'm going to switch it to flush, and flush the 2 tops of the cubes, apply, and then flush the 2 fronts and apply, and now this cube is locked in place with this cube. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to this cube but to the front of my cube that I've started with. Again, the constraint tool, and the first thing I'm going to do is mate the 2 faces that should be touching each other. And can't really quite see it, so let's get a better view. Here it is, and it mated. Go back to my isometric view so I can see, and even though it's mated, it's not stationary yet. I have to flush the tops, and it locked in place, and flush the front and locked in place. Usually there are 3 different things that you do to lock it in every direction. Mate, and then lock in one direction and lock it in another direction with the flush tool. Okay, those are all locked in place. Now I need this cylinder to be upright with these cubes. So I see this face is laying on its side right now. To get it upright, I need to tell that face to be flush with the top of one of these cubes so it flips up. So that's the first thing I'm going to concentrate on. It's a flush tool, remember. I want this face flush with the top of this cube, and there it goes. It tipped up for me. Okay, now the other 2 things, I need to mate this circular edge, or I shouldn't really call it an edge, but the circle part of the cylinder, I need to mate to the face on this outside part of the cube, and then I need to flush it with the front of that cube. But since it's a round part of that cylinder that I'm working with, I need to change this tool right here to tangent, and you can see the picture looks like it's a round circle, or in this case cylinder, against a flat edge. So I click on that. And this is just inside and outside. There is no mate and flush anymore. So don't even worry about this until after you do what it is you're trying to connect. We know we're going to mate the outside of this to that outer face here. So I click on the cylinder, the round portion, and then click on the face that I want it to mate to, and if it looks right, then I say apply. If it doesn't look right, then you know you have to choose the other tool here. Here it needed to be outside. Okay, I'm going to apply it. If I close that, you can see that I still need to tell it to flush the the round part of that cylinder with this face of the cube. So back to my tangent tool, I click the round part of the cylinder and to the front of that cube, and it doesn't look right, so I just choose the other tool, and there it does look right, and hit apply, and it's in place. Now you're going to notice that the cylinder does rotate, and there's another thing we can do to keep it still, but sometimes a lot of times we need round things to be able to rotate in an assembly. We're going to leave it like that for now, and in the future if we need to, I'll show you how to make it completely still. Back to my isometric view. Okay, I have a couple pieces here I need to put together, and what I'm going to do is connect these two so it kind of has that rooftop look like it does in our assembly. So I can constrain, and I need to mate the back side of these two so they face each other. Mate this to this, and there you see it flipped around. And now I'm going to flush the front of them and apply, and I need to still flush the bottom. Flush, flush, apply. Okay, and excuse me. Okay, I just had a telephone call. I'm not exactly sure where I was, so I'm just starting over. We're going to mate now the back of this triangle, or now the set of triangular prisms, with these two. And I really should only have to mate one. If I tell the triangular face on the back side, let's see, if I tell this one to mate with the back side of this cube, then it should lock in place. Let's see if it stays. So I click on my mate tool, and I'm going to click on this face and then turn this around and tell it to connect or mate with this face and apply. Okay, well, I've just been interrupted, I think, 5 times in about the last 30 seconds of this video, so hopefully I'm staying fluid and this makes sense. But I believe we're now on flushing the bottom. I just mated this triangular prism set. I'm going to change my tool to flush, go to the bottom, and flush this with, and just to be safe, I'm going to choose the second one here. And it is indeed flushed. Apply, and it looks like I have it in place. Let's make sure it doesn't move anywhere. Oh, it does move somewhere. So now what I have to do is tell a face in here to be locked in place in respect to the edge here. So let's see what we can do. We'll constrain, and you know what I'll do is let me close this. I'm gonna slide this all the way out and see if I can mate just this line on the other side with the line of my cube here. Okay, I want to mate, and I'm being careful just to choose a line and then go to the other side, and this is the line I want mated. It's actually called an edge on the cube, and click, and let's see if that went in place, and it sure did. So now those edges have to be locked and it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, one piece left, our half cylinder. I want to mate a flat edge first, so I leave it on this tool. I'm going to mate this face with the back of, oh, it's not letting me move it. There we go, with this, and hit apply and go back to our isometric view. Okay, it's mated. Now I need to flush the flat bottoms. Flush, flush, and apply. And I know I'm still going to have one problem. It doesn't know to stay in line here. So I have to tell this round part of the half cylinder to be flush with this flat edge. So here's where we have to change our tool again because we're dealing with something round. I change it to tangent. I'm going to flush the round part of this cylinder with my face of the cube, and it jumped to the outside, which isn't what I want, so I choose the other tool, which is inside. Now it looks right, and I hit apply, and everything is, whoops, I have to close this, everything is locked in place. Double check, make sure nothing moves, because that's what I'll do when I check all of your items, except that the cylinder does rotate. And you have your second assembly finished. Save it as assembly 2, please.